Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter, and joining me back with us again this week, Hank the Bass Geek. What is up, brother?
What's going on out in the Basscast Kingdom?
I tell you one thing, the Basscast Kingdom has been on fire lately. I'll tell you that right now, man. I mean, man, we appreciate you guys all checking us out, checking out Basscast Radio as well as the basscast.com because, you know, the atmosphere is hot, extremely hot right now. I mean,
it is.
There's more stuff going on now than we can write about.
And that's
I don't want to be that person.
Is that what happens when you get a long break between all the pro? And yes, I'm going to call the Opens and the Toyotas semi-pro.
Yes.
Tournaments. I mean, we've had a little break here from tournaments. So too many people sitting around thinking too much, talking too much, maybe.
Geek is 100% right. You know, we wrapped up the classic and we've had a couple weeks off, had a holiday in between all that. And it's the fishing world's on fire. And hopefully it'll get put out pretty soon, or we'll see what ends up happening to it all.
We'll get back to the fishing, and everybody will forget the fire.
We'll get back from days of our lives. You know what I'm saying? Another soap opera episode in the world of bass fishing.
That's right.
Guys, I had a wonderful episode of being a wonderful time on fishing the DMV the other night. If you guys haven't head over and check it out. Me and Thomas and Mark were on, and we're just talking about everything that's happening right now in the world of bass fishing. And, we got a lot of great comments, and we appreciate that. But, we had a great show. And we just, like I said, just kind of hinted and gave our thoughts and opinions on, we try to, you can't dive too deep into it because we all still in the media, we can voice our opinion, but we also have a limit as well. We have to go. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a great show. I think, like I said, we just wanted to talk about, what is happening. I mean, where do we think this thing will go with Mr. Watson? Watson doesn't need the money. I think it was more of a point. And, here you go. I'll say this right here. John Sokup was the voice in PFL. James Watson has kind of come out of the woodwork, in my opinion, as being the voice of, Major League Fishing. Because he has nothing to lose. He loses money going fishing. It's a tax write-off for this dude to go fishing. I mean, he owns part owner, whatever, of a crap load of houses. He's building a $3 million house currently. I mean, he does not need Boyd Duckett at all. I mean, period.
Hashtag fish boat docks.
Yes, he just loves fishing. And, personally, if you go back and look at Mr. Watson, he hasn't done anything lately. I mean, he really hasn't. But he's one of those guys. He's lovable. He's funny. And, he's
a good personality.
Yes, a great personality.
He's great. That's not taking away that he's also a good stick.
Yes.
Course.
You put him, Fat Cat together, a bunch of other crazy
that's a
people,
show.
And it's a hell of a show. Exactly what he said. All right. So, guys, want to thank everyone. We have 41 boats that fished the first Basscast tournament series last weekend. If you guys haven't checked out the results and the photos, videos, interviews, it's all up on the basscast.com right now. Congratulations. We had our contest last month. Mr. Henry Camper won that. Our next one goes up April the 15th. Guys, if you're not a part of our newsletter, you need to be a part of it because we release a lot of information there. And there's a lot of stuff on the newsletter that you will not find on the basscast.com. So please join our newsletter. I don't even want to say this number, but we're up to 666. I just checked it before we came on the show.
Rock and roll, you bloody putes.
So, Geek, if you haven't signed up, please get me over the 666. And if you help me get over it tonight. But, so 666 people are part of that. already. The goal is to get to 1,000 here definitely by the end of this quarter coming up. But thank you guys for being a part of that. You guys see I'm wearing a hat tonight. It is from our sponsors, SML Tackle Shack. And he has put his money where his mouth is.
All right.
And yes, if you, I made the announcement the other night on Fishing DMV, but we're making here as well. If you catch a 10-pounder at a bass cast tournament trail event and goes, what's going to go on our scales anyway, you will receive a $500 gift card from SML Tackle Shack. Hope you guys heard that. So if you fish with the bass cast and you catch a 10-pounder, you're going to get $500 and photos, lots of photos, maybe some photos of me too. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a good time. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I'm glad that's not down here where I fish, because it'd be 20 years before that happened.
Wow. Well, I'll be honest, we've probably been waiting at least 10 ourselves to see one. I mean, you figure with the tiger bass that went into the lake, we're definitely, we've waited a long time as well, and we've gotten pretty daggone close. I mean, really freaking close. So, guys, SML Tackle Shack, want to thank them for being a sponsor of the basscast.com on the bubble, which you get a $50 gift card. You and your co-angler will get a $50 gift card if you're on the bubble at a Basscast Tournament Series event in 2024. All right, that's enough from me. What's up with you, Geek?
Man, we're just grinding. It's the same sort of stuff. We got a couple. We dropped our Red Crest video. I know it's a little bit late. We didn't get to go to, the Bassmaster Classic, which I hated that we didn't get to go. But we've been doing some fishing. We got some good stuff coming up with some pro anglers who are going to do some how-tos for us. Todd Walters come down. That was a really cool little couple of days fishing there. If you guys don't know who Todd Walters is, you need to go check him out. Go check him out, Todd Walters Fishing.
And we had him on the show as well, everybody.
We did. Go check that episode.
Go check it out.
He was very close to winning one of the MLF Invitationals. Finished second, led for 2 days, right? Yeah. Yep. So, what lake was that on again, Brian?
Oh gosh, don't even please ask me.
It was the last tournament before the big break. So
yeah, the championship.
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, it was pretty good little tournament. But man, that's it. We're just grinding. We're trying to pump out content. I know everybody's fishing right now. But when you get a chance, man, make sure you go check out Bass Geek. We're always dropping some new baits. If you like forward-facing sonar, we talk about that. If you don't like forward-facing sonar, we talk about that. If you like to fish from a kayak, we talk about that. If you like to fish from the bank, we talk about that. We're an equal opportunity angler.
Bam. What do you up to now? I think I saw 76,000.
76 and a half. So we're closing a little more than a half. So we're closing.
Come on, guys. Let's get into 100. What is taking you guys so long to head on over to Bass Geek right now and hit the subscribe button?
Listen, I get it. March, everybody's out fishing these tournaments.
It don't matter. Just do it right now. Get on your phone. You're all sitting on that stupid thing looking at that stupid Facebook and stupid Instagram or whatever else the hell is out there.
Which, by the way, I'm on there too. So
there you go.
Find my stupid face.
Yeah, mine too. All right, guys. Tonight, we got a pretty unique show for you all tonight. We have the owner of Bass Tank on with us. You guys all know we've had Mr. John Sokup, and Sokup was a Bass Tank for a while. We know he's not with them now, but we had Sokup on for a while. But Scott Palmer is on with us tonight. They are the title sponsor for Justin Hamner's boat, who just won the 2024 Bassmaster Classic. Guys, if you haven't checked out that content by Bruce and the boys, I've got one video, and this ain't me. Okay, I don't want to say I. Bruce put together a video when he walked up and talked to Justin. It's got, I think, 96,000 views on it right now. So thank you guys all for checking out the Bass. The guys did a great job, and I didn't have to go, and that was the best part about it. I mean, yeah. So thank you guys for being a part of that. So Scott Palmer, everyone, right here on Basscast Radio. Scott Palmer in the house, everyone. Welcome to Basscast Radio. Man, I apologize taking a little while to get caught up, but thank you for coming on. Thank you for being patient with us. You guys all know by now the world of bass fishing is wide open, is all turned upside down,
Wide
and
open.
hopefully the salt and pepper shaker will be like emptied, and
You
we'll figure
looking at
this
my
whole thing
beard?
out. No, not tonight.
He saw my beard is
That
what he
might have
had
been
me.
it.
Yeah.
Scott,
Thank
man,
you for having me on.
appreciate you coming on. Guys, you guys all see he's got the bass tank gear on. So first of all, I want to dive in a little bit about yourself, man. Let's not talk about the business, but let's talk about you, Scott. You know, how'd you get into this fishing world?
Oh goodness. It all starts, everyone's fishing story starts the same in my opinion. We all started on a creek bank with a cork and a bobber, right? I mean that, in a minnow, and some point along the line, those little slimy fish, whether it be a perch, a bass, or maybe even a frog, I don't know, something intrigued us to say, I want to pursue this. And now I was a little bit late getting started. I actually grew up on a catfish farm.
Oh,
And
wow.
Wow.
so we raised cattle, raised catfish. Dad was a CPA by day, catfish farmer by night. So go figure.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah.
All right.
So my summer chores included throwing out hundreds of pounds of feed with a scoop by hand every day for the catfish, to make sure, which is really fun because you would drive the tractor or the four-wheeler around, and they got trained to hear that. And anytime they went down there, even if you weren't feeding, they would follow you around, and it was just right
Wow.
on the surface. So it was really
That's crazy.
Yes, sir. So that was fishing for me. I pond fish, things like that. My first experience on a lake fish or fishing on a lake, you'll appreciate this. I was throwing a 6-foot Shakespeare rod, spinning cast. I didn't know what a bait caster was. I didn't.
Yeah.
We hunted. I grew up hunting. That was
Yeah.
the thing about it. And I farm pond fish, but I didn't really lake fish. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was a thing. And a good friend of mine introduced me, went down to his grandparents' lake house. We went, my first lake experience was on a pontoon boat, on the deck of a pontoon
God, yours
boat.
is exactly yours is mine to a T.
Yeah. And so, and I'll just, I mean, full disclosure, here I am. I think I was 18 when that happened, and it was summertime, and we go out there and we're throwing and we're casting, and I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, man, he is just bombing. I'm like, wow, this is amazing that you can throw that far. And these fish start schooling up, and he's like, oh, those are spots. I'm like, I thought they were bass. He goes, they are bass. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't know there was a spotted bass,
That's
a large
awesome.
mouth, a small mouth. I had no idea, and so, but then what happened? Guess what? The bug bit me, and it went downhill from there. And
the wallet has been open ever since.
it has been
That's
open
right.
ever since, and I'll tell you just kind of a funny story. In my opinion, it's funny. I always went to my dad every year. I grew up, I never been married. I don't have kids. So I've got to spend money on hobbies. Right. And I'd always go to my dad, the accountant, remember, and say, hey, look at all this money I spent on fishing. How do I write this off? And he said to me, tell me how you can make money at this, actually be a real business and not a hobby. Because this looks more like a hobby, a very expensive hobby. And then you can write it off. So when the year I started the bass tank, I went to him, I said, here you go. This is how I make money at fishing. And he said, okay, fine, you're right. And so it was kind of, it only took
That's
me,
awesome.
it took me like 20 years to get there, but I finally figured it out. So
wow. Hey, that's guys, I ain't lying. That's my story. I was a lot younger though, because I grew up on a pond farm fishing, because everybody had a farm back in the day for the most part, somewhere in your neighborhood. And I think I was probably about 10 years old. Some people from church took me out on a pontoon boat on Smith Mountain Lake, and I'd never seen that place before. I mean, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And
Smith Mountain.
20 years later, it's like I go every daggone weekend. So, well, that's awesome. So, when did the bass tank actually start, man?
It actually started in 2018.
Okay.
Is when the fish started, and we kind of, not to jump too far into a semi-controversial topic, but right about the time the live scope craze started, right on the beginning of that, is when we started. And boy, we just hold on for dear life. With my technical background, it kind of made sense. And that was because I've always been about teaching. That's what the bass tank was founded on, was teaching and doing things the right way. And so it was easy. For some reason, it just made sense the way the technology worked, and a lot of it has to do with my background.
Your background is?
Systems engineer. So
Okay.
I would do like automation and things like that at,
Yeah.
industrial facilities, and a lot of integration of different systems and things like that. So it just made sense. To me, it was just another device that I had to figure out, okay, how's this communicating? What is this? And all the features of it. And it just fit my role, because I would also teach. Part of my job was to teach the operators, the guys using this stuff, how to use it. Like all these cool features they didn't know were there. Hey, we can do this and make your life easier. And so it kind of, to me, was almost a natural fit, just in a different application. And I enjoy it. That's the other side. This is not something you can fake. I will
That's
say
awesome.
that. I lose a lot of sleep. Look, we're human. I'll be the first to admit we're human. We're going to make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And I tell my team, don't run away from it. Own it, get it right with the customers. But I lose a lot of sleep when we let a customer down. It's just, it bothers me, because I want us to be perfect, even though that's not possible. I want us to be perfect. I want everyone to have a good experience with us.
So who came up with the name, man?
That was one of those things that the name was, it's funny, because we originally weren't going to be an electronics company.
Okay.
Some ideas floating around. It was like, hey, so you go to all these shows, take the Bassmaster Classic, take ICAST, and you always go to those guys that are there with a booth, and they've got a great idea, but they don't really know how to market it. They don't really know how to get it to, and they may not have the funding. And the joke was, well, we're going to kind of be like the Shark Tank, but we're the bass, but because we're in the fishing, we're going to be the Bass Tank. And it stuck. And then, like I said, then the live scope craze kind of started, and we were kind of doing this to help fund the other venture. And then this just blew up, and it just kind of made it tough to jump back to the other, even though that's still a desire I want to do. And I've had opportunities to do a couple of those, but that's how we came about.
That is awesome right there. You do teaching now though, don't you? I've seen, you guys post some stuff on social media about some classes and things.
Yeah. So, I've got some on the water training that I'm working with some guys that I've kind of tried to, have a partnership with. And
right.
Because it's something that I've always wanted to do, that underneath the umbrella of the Bass Tank, because it's that other arm. It's, hey, you come to me, you have no idea what you're wanting. We explain to you the options, fit your best application. Let us install it or teach you how to install it, and then let's teach you how to use it on the water. So it's start to finish an educational process. And so I've got some on the water training. And then outside of that, as you're going to find out, I talk a lot. I'm not good on social media, trying to keep it under 60 seconds. Like, I'm more of a long form guy. And so we started the Bass Tank Academy, and that's where I have opportunity, and I'm not limited by 60 seconds or a minute and a half. And it fits my style a lot better. And so it's still in its infancy, plain and simple, but I'm happy about it. Anything like that, as you very well know, takes a while to kind of get built up and to really get the value for the customers there. There is right now for annual members, I did the full install on my boat. Like, when I got my boat last year, I had to sit there and look at this boat for 2 weeks. Couldn't put it on the water because it was stripped, no electronics, because we were going to do the whole video, so we could make this as the class. And we had over 25 hours of video that got cut down to 3.5 hours of video doing the install. Wow. And we didn't hold anything back. I mean, a lot of times I've always had a problem when people, the do-it-yourself videos are like, hey, you do this, then magically this thing happens. You're like, wait a minute, there was a step. And listen, we have trouble sometimes feeding wire through boats. It's not always just slick as butter. And and we showed that, and I wanted people to see we showed that hey, we do this every day, and it's not always smooth sailing. And so it was more of a sincere pulling the veil back, say, here's how you do it.
You got to have a couple little skinny guys get up in him. I've seen some videos, and I've seen them working on people's boats and putting the install, and it's like getting up in there and sliding between holes. And
it is, you have to be a contortionist, and I do have that skinny guy that I'm like,
yes,
hey,
you do.
Here you
We've
go.
Actually had that little skinny guy on our show, to be honest. What's the boy's name? I'm trying to think. He had a YouTube channel, got pretty daggone big, did a lot of TikToks and stuff like that.
You're talking about Jake.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had Jake on here.
Yeah, absolutely. So he gets him like, hey, Jake, you're the skinniest guy here and the youngest. So guess what? Guess where you're going? But he owns it. He does it. He does a great job. So we've
So
got a
as
good team.
the like I said, as the company has continued to grow, when you first started, what was your ultimate plan with everything? We know things change and change, things evolve, but is there an end point with Bass Tank as a whole? Because you know you can only grow so many different directions and not be making money and wasting money
Right.
and getting away from your core or whatever the core values of what you started with the company. So is there an end point that you're looking for or actually a goal?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you mean, am I looking to build this up and sell it and get out of it and start
No,
something
no, no. I
else?
mean, a lot of people will, like, okay, so you got the videos,
Yeah.
you got the install, you got the selling of electronics itself.
Yeah.
Is there other legs and arms of the company that you would like to create in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually working on them now. I've got some ideas that I'm actually in the patent process of right now that
Ooh,
are going to be original ideas.
Nice.
And I'm excited about them. And that's it, because I've got a list of about 17 pages long. And that notebook every day gets bigger of ideas that I've wanted to bring to market for a long time.
That's cool.
And so that's where I see the company going. Still focus on the education and everyday customer service, but some real products, that add value, that actually add value, not just, hey, here's a product.
right.
And so that's the deal. And it's kind of trying to get the company to a position where, because there's always that jumping off point, like, okay, like you said, you keep spending money, but do you ever
Right.
make any money? And I don't want to be in that position. It's just, so I'm kind of picking a few pet projects that I can push and feel like, okay, I can slowly invest money in these because they take a while. And then whenever they hit, then they should be instant revenue generators. So I'm pretty excited about those. And I can't wait to share. I want to talk about them because I'm like, you're going to love these, but I've got to show them.
Yeah. Well, for you guys out there who has not tried out the Bass Tank glass cleaner, screen cleaner, you are missing out. That's some great stuff.
And it smells amazing.
What's that?
It smells amazing.
It does.
Yes. Wow. It's amazing. If you put it on your glasses, give it a minute because you're going to get high afterwards, but it's great. I mean,
which may be a bonus for some people.
Yeah. Well, and I will tell you on that as well. And this is a funny thing. It's one of those unintended uses that you never really thought of. And a good friend of mine, they clean houses and, for some money, and they had this fridge, and they were lamenting how dirty this fridge was. Wow. And nothing would clean it. They couldn't clean it with a Comet, barkeeper's friend, like all the stuff. And they said I'd given them a bottle to try, and they came back and they said, here's a picture of the before and after with your cleaner. I'm like, what? This is glass cleaner, not fridge cleaner. But they've now used it to clean everything. And we've taken grease spots out of carpet with it, upholstery, like it take the scum line off a boat.
I used it on my 80-inch TV just the other day.
Well, there you go. That is a viable use for sure.
That's what I use. I use it on my MacBook and on the TV. Yep. So yes, it's great stuff. So you guys should definitely pick up some of that as well. But what we're moving on to tonight is Justin Hamner, man. You guys sponsored him for was he your were you guys his title sponsor this year, or what was the sponsorship lineup for you guys with Justin?
I would consider this as title sponsorship. Maybe not. He doesn't. I'm not going to ask a guy what his whatever it is. But based on our positioning, the boat, it was a solid investment to show him the support. Justin's a friend of mine. And it's all about relationships in this industry for me.
Yeah.
And what started as a pure business relationship developed into a friendship. And so this year I told him, I said, I want to make a solid, I want you to be able to go fish. I want to make a solid, contribution to show you the support I believe in. And you want to talk about looking back on it, like, I probably got out cheap still, because he not only doing the classic, but on Fork, he showed out, he's having a good year.
Oh yeah.
He's having a great year.
He's having a great year, and I actually talked to him today, not to name drop, but I talked to the Bassmaster Classic champion today. And, but no, he made the comment, man, it'd be cool if I could, keep doing well and be in a potential position to win AOI, and he said, I believe there was 2 people that have done that in the same year they won the classic.
Oh, wow.
So he's already in very, premium company, and he could be in a more even exclusive club. And
Oh yeah.
the kid can fish. That's the thing about it. Take the electronics away. The kid can just fish. He's just good. And he's a great guy. I don't know if do you guys know Justin pretty well?
Not I'll be honest, no. Justin's a real quiet guy.
He is.
Mhm.
He is.
Yep.
And we have not had him on the show, and I haven't seen him on too many shows, period. I think he might have been on one, maybe, or two. I'll be honest, I don't once I have to take all my podcasts are not fishing, and
Yeah.
actually none of them are not fishing because I have to take a break. But I mean, it's but we have not had him on, and I've met him like one time, and that's really about it. Most of the time, all the wild and crazy ones want to hang out with me, and I don't understand why, because I'm all older than them, but still, it doesn't matter.
Well, and you have to understand, Justin is a just humble, down to earth, good old goober from Alabama. And that's why I love him so much. Just take all the fishing out of it. I just like him because he's just a good dude. He's just good people. And
so how does that work? The relationship with you guys, how does that work? It as a sponsor, spending money on people and the investment. Did you know him prior to you guys investing in him?
No, that's what I was saying. It started off as a business relationship, purely business to start with 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then just over time, it developed into a friendship and a relationship, and he's stuck with us, and we've stuck with him. And even when times were not the best, I guess, from a financial standpoint, I couldn't make the same investment in him that I maybe he deserved. And that's just shows the kind of guy he is. He's a loyal guy, and so was really glad to see that. And I joked with him. I said, well, I know what's going to happen. I can't afford to be where I'm at right now on your boat next year because, well, you win the Bassmaster Classic and you kind of get to do those type things.
Oh, yeah. But I guess my real question is, we know you sponsored Soak Up in the past, and you guys have had a relationship. I know that's ended, and, you and Justin. But how do I see so many people throw money away, and I don't want to say throw money away, but it's like picking horses. You got to have a real knack for saying, I want to invest my money here, because we're not talking about pennies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $5,000 a tournament at least. And, and I don't, I've actually been, I'm friends with Gray Buck. We've been real tight, known each other for a long time. And, and me and him talked about how much it cost and the sponsorship. And, luckily he does have, I think it's a building company, and they pay all his entry fees pretty much. And then after that, everybody helps pay for gas.
Yeah.
But,
well, and it's one of those things where you never can be sure. And that's why relationships are important to me. Because if I've got a relationship with a guy, he's going to want to go perform, and, not just on the stage. So many anglers think that if I go catch a fish, that makes me valuable to a sponsor. And I don't see it that way. It's really not the case.
No.
At the end of the day, you catching a fish does not help me move product unless you're talking about it and you're doing the other side of things. And that's where this younger crowd is at some point going to have to learn the business side of it.
Yes.
That's what, and I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying these are facts, guys. This is a business. If you're going to be a professional angler, it's a business, and you need to treat it as such. And when a sponsor invests in you, we're expecting an ROI. We have to. Otherwise, what are we doing? I'm not a charity. And not every, angler you invest in you're going to get that investment back. But guess what? That's where you may not see them the next year. And I hate that side of it. I wish we could all just have relationships, and, the same guys I have now, I want to have in 10 years from now. And that's how I want to do business. And so it's a balancing act. I saw a video, and I think it was G-Man was at an expo. This was just a show, and he was talking about, and I can't even remember who he referenced, but he said, I don't care if you can catch a fish on a Zero spook. I need you to be able to sell 100 Zero spooks.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it right there. For me, from a business standpoint, guys, if you're not helping me move product, no matter what it is, what value do you have? And if every angler that I sponsor could go win the Bassmaster Classic, okay, that's a different story, because that ROI.
I want you to pick some horses for me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I told someone, I said, as far as the whole classic itself, just the expo, everything went down. If I would have written down the script of how I wanted it to go, there is one small thing I would have changed, and that's not even worth mentioning. Other than that, I couldn't have scripted it better. I could not have written it down any differently.
Wow.
And
Nice.
the expo itself, we had good traffic. It was a good show for us. I didn't get to really leave the booth. There's a few times I was like, I've got to go to this person, and I literally would go straight there and then come straight back.
Yeah.
We were very, very busy. And so that was really good. And then you take everything happened with Hamner, and it's just like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
So
Can you talk about that a little bit? After someone, winning this event, you got to tell us numbers and nothing like that. How much has your business increased since he won? Because I saw the video earlier, but how much, 10, 20% too?
It's interesting. So we average a pretty hefty traffic, visit to the website, pretty hefty volume on the phones. But it tripled as far as traffic goes to the website. It just boom, it jumped up. And it's carried on. It's starting to slow a little bit, and like anything, there's a little bit of momentum, and it starts tracking down. But from a sales standpoint, I think it's going to be a longer term play. I think there's maybe people that didn't know about us. We saw a little bit of a bump, but at the same time, and this happens every year. This is not anything that's new, but every year before the Classic, sales really dip. Even though we're in the middle of buying season, it really dips. And what it is everyone's expecting maybe either to go to the Classic, some special, or something new that's going to be announced at the Classic, right? And so people don't want to be the guy that bought a blank, and then new blank comes out at the Classic.
Man, I just bought this and the brand new one. Hey, we've got a 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a little bit of a dip before that, and then it's one of those things where the Classic happened. Either it was announced or there was nothing new. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy. So some of that is natural anyway. And I do believe this will just be a longer term, ROI as far as, because there's a lot of people that didn't know.
And I like what you just said about the long-term ROI. A lot of, even advertisers with us, sometimes don't understand that longer-term ROI thing. And, they're like, well, we didn't get any calls. I can't help that. I did what I was supposed to do, and I did what I told you I was going to do per our contract.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, you see, I mean, I know the larger companies, they invest thousands and thousands, TV ads and everything like that. It's just there to remind you we are still here. And that's what you're really, that's what you're really investing in. You're investing in a business for one thing, like you were saying right there. You invested in him because you had a friendship or relationship. And most of our sponsors are the same.
Yep.
But it's mainly to say, hey, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here. We're still here for you. And Bass Tank will help you however we can help you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely is. And, Justin's not a social media guy. That's the thing about it. Take a guy like Justin. He's not a big social media, quote unquote, influencer. He's not going to have a big thing. Now he is learning the business side of it as well. We had a lot of conversations over the winter, some things he's like, hey, I'm going to have to step this and this up because I want this to be my career. And he's recognized it. So, he's learning, at least he's willing to learn, and he's definitely working on that. And that got accelerated, by the way, because his social has taken off.
Oh yeah.
I think he started the weekend with like 5,000 followers, and at the end of it was already up to 13.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, so he's seeing that side of it, but it's like that billboard that you drive by every day to work.
Yep.
The first time you see it, you're not going to pick that phone up and call whatever. But let's say it's for a plumbing company.
Yeah.
Guess what? The next time you drive by that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And first time you have a plumbing issue, you're going to say, "Oh, I remember that billboard."
That's right.
So that's that long term, type of play. If you will. It's just as much as I wish I could say, "Hey, here's X money," and all of a sudden I get 2 times back like the next day. That's just not how this is. And so it's not
how advertising is, period.
Right.
It's, across the board. You're not going to put a TV commercial out there and automatically you're going to get $10 million in sales. It's sustaining the advertising over time. That's what really helps.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. I agree.
It's crazy. The QR code has returned, everybody. I mean, the QR code from 1999 has returned back to life. Or scan the QR code and enter this, because you guys saw it all last year. If anybody watched Super Bowl commercials, there were a lot of QR codes during the Super Bowl commercial. And that's return and become a big advertising thing in 2024 because COVID brought that back because they put the QR code on the table because they didn't want to pass out menus. So you scan the QR code to get the menu. And since COVID, it's all back to return. So things go through a cycle like anything else. And like we were talking about here. So
yeah, they do. And, it's from an industry standpoint, and just overall business, if you will. The industry as a whole is down. You look at it across the board, and it's not me, it's not my competitor, it's just everything, is just down. And people are eventually going to get back there. I feel like it'll come back. It's cyclical,
It
and,
is.
Yeah.
and you mentioned COVID. That was one of those anomalies, like
Mhm.
everybody was just like, oh my goodness. And it blew up. And there's some companies that got themselves in trouble because we talked about, maybe overvaluing.
Yes.
And some companies bought some companies and they paid way too
Yes.
much. And that's what I've had to do is reset everybody, say, hey guys, these numbers are not cut that off. You're like, this
These
is our
ain't real,
trajectory.
people.
These aren't real. Like, let's cut this off. And when I look at the overall growth, we're not as in bad shape as we thought we were, because we were basically looking at inflated numbers that were never
Yep.
going to be sustainable long term. I wish they were, but no, they were not going to be.
that is so true. But it did help a lot of, it helped a lot of us. And COVID brought an awareness to a lot of the outdoor industry.
It
and
did.
a lot of the part of the bass fishing, professional fishing. And now we're seeing the people that bought the $60,000 to $100,000 bass boats. They're now on bassboatforsale.com
Well,
because they've all gone outdoors.
I
I mean,
always
now they're going
relate
back to life.
I always relate the boom of COVID to the outdoors industry, being a fat guy, to a New Year's resolution to lose weight. I'm gonna buy that treadmill, but 3 months later, it's got my fishing rods on it.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be
Yeah.
some people that stick with it and run, and there's gonna be
Yeah.
some people that hang their clothes on it.
Well, and during that time, you think about it, you couldn't go out to eat, you couldn't
Yeah.
go to the movie theater, you
Yeah.
couldn't go to the mall, and take the money the government was printing and giving to people.
Yep.
Everybody that I knew still had to go to work.
Yep. Me
I
too.
did.
So yeah, exactly. I did too. And so the fact that you had, you couldn't spend your money anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and we as Americans are conditioned to spend money. We just are.
Mhm.
That's right.
And so everyone's looking around, where do I spend money? You couldn't find a bike. Go find a bicycle. Like, go to a
Yeah.
bike shop. And they're like, 12 months. Well, guess what? People are still putting the money down and getting on the list because they
Mhm.
had no idea what else to spend their money on. And we
Yeah.
were no different in the outdoor world as well. And because people want to spend money, because they didn't want to sit at home either. They're like, I didn't want something
That's
to do.
right.
Like you said, they go buy a bike and everything else, or
And,
excuse me, a boat, and
Yeah.
spend a lot of money on
And
that.
some people are going to stick with it, and some
They are.
people are going to go back to movies and Twinkies and Netflix and chill.
That is so funny. Guys, everyone, we got Scott Palmer on with us tonight, the owner of the Bass Tank. Guys, if you never checked out the Bass Tank's website, I mean, they got all the full electronics, anything you need for your bass boat. They'll help you get wired up, set up, ready to go, teach you how to use your electronics, which is, I'm a big friend of Mr. Mike Del Visco. He's a big electronics guy, taught a lot of people electronics here, but I just saw something pop up on today that there's a guy here local that wants to teach some classes on the forward facing sonar to help you all out. Scott, I got a question for you on, all this right here. And it was brought up to me in a conversation. Do you think we're alienating people with forward facing sonar now? Because of, you see, so right now there's a non forward facing sonar tournament going on right now.
Mhm.
And if you look at the average age of the ones fishing this event, they're 35 and over for the most part. You don't see any kids down there. I didn't see any. I haven't looked through good, but you didn't see any kids because the kids are relying on forward facing sonar. And all the kids that got into, they're adults, but they're very young. So, I mean, I just call them kids. But
I might have accidentally left a comment on Tackle Warehouses that said the tournament for all those people whose VCRs are still flashing 12.
But do you think
Now,
we're,
I'm 50. I can talk about those people because I'm one. But I'm tech savvy, so sorry about the rest of your looks.
But do you do you think we're kind of crushing the industry as a whole with forward facing sonar and all these electronics that are coming out that'll I've talked to a lot of guys here that said we can't compete, we gave up, and we walked away.
I'm gonna let Scott answer that, and then I'll throw my two maybe
All right, go ahead, Scott.
0.5 cents.
Do I think that we're alienating people? Potentially, but what I mean by potentially is those guys were probably ready to give up anyway, or they were getting tired of the rigmarole, the competition, and are they really going to stop fishing altogether? I don't believe that.
No.
And so like me, I really backed off the tournament trail. It doesn't, and it's got nothing to do with forward facing sonar. It's just there's a lot of drama that I just got tired.
Period.
And I'm like,
always has been.
I'd rather go take a week off and go drive up north and catch some brown fish for a while. I'd rather take a trip down to Florida when the frog bite's good. I'd rather kind of, if I'm going to take time away from my business or my life to go fish instead of focusing on a tournament, I'd rather go have fun and enjoy it,
fun.
Exactly. And I think that's a lot of guys that passion is gone for whatever reason. And I'm not going to argue too much about forward facing sonar or not from the standpoint.
No, I don't want to talk about that. No,
but it's the only thing I want to ask these guys is why forward facing sonar? What is it that you say you can't compete? Because I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you a little insight here. You know what the average age of my customer is that is buying forward facing sonar? And listen, I sell units without forward facing sonar, side imaging, because that is still very, very important from the fishing side of it. Mapping is just as important.
Yes. Amen.
Forward facing sonar is just another tool. But the average age of my customer that's coming in and buying it, the early adopters and the ones that are still continuing to buy, is 55 and older.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
100%. My channel, same way. I get so many questions from guys who are my age, maybe 40 to 60, 65.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And so I don't want to alienate anybody because I don't want anyone to think that they can't go fishing. And the thing that I want to impress upon people is the fish that we're catching with forward facing sonar are fish that you probably wouldn't have caught otherwise. 75% of them are fish you would have never had a chance to catch. So the fish that you're still fishing for are still there, but
I understand that part, but I guess in your mind, like, damn, I got to buy this thing to compete. Even you know what I'm saying? It's like that. Wait a second, geek. It's like that keeping up with the Joneses thing. Oh shit, man. And boy, my neighbor just went down there. He just went over there to Bass Tank. He dropped $4,000. It's more than that. I know. That's just the TV. We ain't even talking about the rest of it. It's like crap. If I want to win that next tournament, I got to have this. And then you feel this peer pressure to say, I got to buy this.
Well, I mean,
even if you're only going to cash a check for $50.
That's what advertising is. Yeah. So I'm going to interrupt you, Scott. I'm sorry. Because I'm a Tennessee River guy. I'm a deep, clear water Highland fishery guy, right? East Tennessee lakes, as deep as they get, other than maybe California, maybe, Table Rock, Ozark lakes, a lot alike. 3 sections of the country. So I was ledge fishing when side imaging came out.
Yeah.
I remember the mega schools. Okay. I remember when you could go out there side imaging, you could scan a ledge, you could scan, where a ditch and the ledge, river ledge, and you'd see 200 fish, and you'd go out there and you'd catch, excuse my language, the hell out of it. That's not possible anymore. Those were fish that guys weren't fishing for.
Yeah.
The same exact thing is going to happen here. I can give you 2 small lakes on the Virginia side because I'm just across the into Virginia. I'm not going to give you the names because they're small lakes. We'll say Top Secret Lake P and Top Secret Lake F.
What are the GPS coordinates? What are the GPS coordinates of those lakes?
I fished.
That's funny.
I grew up fishing P, and I fished out deep since I had a flasher because I knew they were there. The lake averages 35 foot. It's 15 foot clear. So in the summer, you're not throwing a spinner bait, man.
No.
You're not. I can see them. They ain't there.
Yeah.
So my point, and this drives me crazy. You can hear I'm passionate about it. This drives me crazy. You've been fishing for those fish on the bank since the lake was built. Those fish have seen every single the fish's granddaddy's granddaddy seen every bait that's ever been made come by their head for 100 years. If that lake's that old, they're educated. They know, they're conditioned. Maybe not educated. Let's say conditioned. We give fish a lot too much credit, but the point is, these fish out here, I can go. I've had guys when I started fishing that P, I go out there, I throw a big swim bait, boom, 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 catch them. Nobody's fishing that lake like I was fishing it. I'd go out there. I started doing YouTube. Every local, even though I didn't share the name of that lake, Joe Bob told Joe Bob Johnny and told Johnny Joe and told Billy Joe, and they went out there and fished that lake like me. Now you go out there, those fish are spread out. They ain't the big schools on the 5 places they were, and they're harder to catch. And they don't bite a bass tricks. They don't bite an underspin. They don't bite those lures that I was showing. I went to another lake, Top Secret Lake F, 100, we talk about largemouth, man. We ain't talking smallmouth or spots. 100, 200 bass schools in open water. I'm catching them in the middle of the day on top water, 15-foot visibility. They're there. You know why? Because nobody fishes for them that way on those lakes. Those fish ain't seen a lure. Every guy that's fishing that lake is fishing the bank. Mm-hmm. And yeah, those fish are hard to catch. And I'm gonna go up there and as a non-local, and I'm gonna whoop their asses because I'm fishing for fish they ain't. But now those videos are out. So I got about a year or two to go whack them. Yeah. And everybody's gonna be like, that damn bass geek, man, he showed me the deal. Yeah. So, and that's cool. I'm glad. That's my job. I want to teach, I want to educate. But we can't look, sooner or later, those fish, and I seen it even on that lake, I could get within 30 feet and take a topwater and hit them, or a minnow bait and hit them. Not now. I started having to ease it on out there, and then they stopped hitting that topwater completely. So now they're getting used to that boat being there that they've never had to deal with. That's the deal. Just like those 200 fish schools on those ledges, they're used to it. These bass right now are gold.
Oh yeah.
But they're turning silver and bronze real quick.
Yeah. You know,
and sooner or later they'll be cashing a check range. So, you know, it's fishing, man. We're all tore up about the hot new thing. Yeah. I mean, these bass are going to get conditioned to the amount of people that's out there. And technology being, and again, sorry, Scott. I know Scott's a engineer. I'm a network engineer. And we all know how much the iPhone was when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's going to drop. It's going to drop. Look, they already selling the LV34, you know, trying to get rid of, or wait, 32. Yeah, my brain went crazy. the Gen 1. Yeah. You know, I mean, you can get those for a little, you know what, Scott, you know, tell me how much are they on sale? The Gen 1.
Well, there's not. I'm not going to tell you where you can get them because there's only one spot you can get.
Okay. I know. We won't talk about that.
Look what you're trying.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
No, but we have a special on the LBS 32. There we get special deals from Garmin. They're remanufactured, you know, and so they're factory refurbished. They still have a 1-year warranty on them. And you know, you're talking $950. Yeah. You know, I mean,
great.
The price is going to come down. It is.
Exactly.
But something to your point, you hit the nail on the head. The guys that say, I can't compete because of X, because of this technology. Cool. So you're fishing out of a kayak in a bass tournament? Like at some point, the bass boats as we know them today, think about it. I saw a blurb and they were talking about the 150 Evinrudes and all these boats.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh yeah.
You know, okay, well then they put a 250 on it. There was probably, I can't go back, but I would be willing to put a fair amount of money that someone was pretty upset for the first guy to have a 250 horsepower motor on there. And they probably wanted outlawed. Okay, cool. Then the flashers, you know, we're talking about going from a flasher. Yes. That was the first live sonar.
And people went nuts over that when it came out.
Then think about side imaging and down imaging. You know, you talk about going to ledge fishing. all those offshore spots that people had gone out there and spent the time sinking brush and,
Dragging a
Yep,
Carolina
dragging,
rig.
you know, and dragging
Yeah.
weights to kind of map the
Yeah.
bottom of it themselves, studying topo maps. Well, now all of a sudden that stuff, I just go scan 3 or 4 hours
There
and
you
I can
go.
find your stuff. I don't have to do any work as far as dropping my own brush piles, and that not just me, but everybody.
Everybody.
And so where do we draw the line? You know, if you like the
That's
guy
it.
that there was guys that couldn't compete when side engine came out, right? Because and I'm not trying to throw shade. It's just like, and it may be a factor
Yeah.
where they just can't do it. They don't have the time. I get that. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, I get that. But okay, I can't compete because I can't go put the same amount of time to go scan and find those spots. The same thing with mapping. Look at what we're doing with mapping right now.
Oh
You know,
gosh.
like there's things that we can do with maps that all but show you that
Yes.
there's a fish here.
Yes.
And
Yes.
guess what? It's coming where there's going to be a time when there's a fish here. Like this is a school of fish in real time. I expect at some point we're going to see mapping that's a real live, or within a 24-hour, like there was a school here, there was school here. And
Well,
are we going to
So
lose our minds?
so yeah, I like what you brought up there, but you know, I remember someone told me the other day, I was talking to someone, and what was that electronics thing where you could drop the camera down in the water to see the fish? That got banned. Live view, that was it.
Aquaview, yep.
AquaView.
Yeah. Well, of course, you shouldn't be able to see a
And that
use a
got
camera.
banned. So I mean, if we put that same
Okay,
technology back
Yep.
into the
I'm
fish
gonna play
finder.
devil. I'm gonna play
Okay.
devil's advocate for a second here.
Here we go.
And this is the guy who's the owner of the Bass Tank who sells electronics and is able to pay bills with forward-facing sonar. The argument that I hear a lot is this is just a camera.
No.
Now it's not. But
Mm-mm.
what's the difference? What's the difference? Because I'll tell you this right now. I would actually rather have forward-facing sonar than a camera. And
Yes.
the reason why is because a camera, the visibility is the range is dependent on
Oh, yeah.
watercolor.
Exactly.
Yep.
And but there's people that equate those two because it's
Yeah.
live. They say this is the same, and you're not allowing a camera. Why are you
Yeah.
allowing this? And that, I think that is one of the struggles, you know. And I think there's a lot of different reasons why guys don't like forward-facing sonar. You know, I was the first guy in my little buddies of that had a 7-inch unit on my boat, and then I put a 9.
Yeah.
I had 9-inch unit on my boat, and they were giving me a hard time about staring at that
Yes.
TV screen on the front of my boat. And now a 9 is considered a small unit,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And so that's everything's going to change. And guess what? Then the price goes up. But I think it's a factor of, let's just call a spade a spade. It's expensive. I don't care if you've got money or not. I sell the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. It is. And this is your hard-earned dollar. Is this what you want to be? And then there's the learning curve of it. Okay, you guys have had a 2, 3, 4-year head start on me. I'm just now getting into it. I can't compete. And am I going to have enough time to get caught up? And then there's the desire to even learn it. Do I really want to? And so I think there's a lot of different factors that go into why guys are frustrated with it. And I hate it because I don't want drama in the industry. You know, like
no,
I'll sell you a side imaging unit only. You don't have to buy forward-facing sonar if you come buy from me, and I'll teach you how to use that side imaging just the same. You know,
right?
Like, and listen, the other day I was able to sneak out. I turned off my forward-facing sonar and I went down the bank with a blade and caught fish and had a good time. And guess what?
Awesome.
I caught an 8-pounder. Which
nice.
so there's still shallow.
Nice.
There's still fish that live shallow,
yes,
and are gonna stay shallow.
You know, and on my channel, I tell people all the time. I've told people well before forward-facing sonar was, you know, thought of. I tell people all the time, look, if you want to catch more fish, buy a cheap boat and put good graphs on it. I got a 98 boat out there. I'm lucky enough I work with Camus now, but I got a 98 Triton with a 98 Johnson on it that I paid 12 grand for, which is a good kayak nowadays. And and you know, and the thing of it is the graphs on it are worth more than the boat is. And I know that. And I've had people comment that.
It's like the rims on the cars you see these days.
But just like those rims, they get you places. To me, it's more important for a weekend guy to have good graphs and good maps than it is for a pro. A pro fishes 5 days, 10 days, or 10 days a week, Jesus, 5 days or whatever a week. You know, they're on the water constantly. I'm out there for a day, 2 days if I'm lucky. And I want to find those daggone, because listen, everybody can say, this is my opinion, and we know what opinions are like. And anybody can say, well, you're looking at that screen all day and you're not taking in the scene. If I want scenery, I'll go hiking. I live in the mountains, man. It's beautiful out my front door. I want to go catching.
Yeah.
That's one of your all's hashtags, one of my favorites, hashtag catching. I don't want to go fishing. If I want to go fishing, I'll take up fly fishing and we'll do it for the art of it with no barbs. But I like to go fast in my boat. I like to, if they ain't a breeze and it's hot summer, I like to make one. And, I like NASCAR and fishing. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I get geared, man. But, but what I'm saying is I want to go out there because I want to go fast and then slow down and then it be dead quiet and real pretty. And I'm going to look around. And then I want to go fast when I set that hook again and reel him in. I want that up and down adrenaline, right? That's bass fishing, baby.
Yeah.
To me,
and that's the thing about it. I tell people that, being on the water is my happy place. That's where I go to calm my mind and everything else, because I can lose myself in what I'm doing right there. And I don't think about anything else. And it recenters me. Okay, that's all poetic and romantic and all that, but it's the reality. It is as intense as it is, because and that's what, from a tournament standpoint, I'm a competitive guy. You will not, you probably won't meet someone that's more competitive. We'll sit down to eat, dinner, and I'm going to be looking over you. Am I eating faster than you? And we're walking to the truck, and for some reason I pick up the pace. I don't know why. It's just what actually I know why. I had 2 brothers. I'm the middle, middle child syndrome right
Dang.
there, so just that competitive fire's in me. And so I enjoy that. And again, it's an escape, because I think most people, that's what it is. Fishing is enjoyable, but it's kind of like why we watch a sports game, a sports event. We don't want all the crap that goes along in the world. We deal with that every day. We want to get away.
Right. That's why a lot of us cut ESPN off back in the day and still cut ESPN off, because they want to talk about all the other crap out there. I go to ESPN to watch sports, to not see the news. If I wanted to watch the news, I go to another channel.
100%. That's
why
exactly
ESPN's tanking.
That's right. And
guys,
I don't disagree.
We need to wrap this bad boy up.
Sorry, I took up all his spots, man. I'm sorry, Scott.
And now we'd be out here for 2 hours tonight. Scott, man, we really appreciate you coming on. It's a pleasure to meet you, by the way. Pretty freaking cool. And like I said, man, it's a different show tonight, guys, than our normal show. But, what's his name? Is it Brian that reached out to us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Brian reached out to us, and tell him thank you for hooking us up with you. And like I said, it's been an awesome show.
100%.
Plug the Bass Tank before we go, man. Tell them, where it can be found, website, Facebook, all that great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you said it already. The website is www.thebasstank.com. You can call us. Our phone number is area code 918-509-7864. We're on Facebook. Guess what? Just search the Bass Tank. You'll find us there. We've got a lot of cool specials going right now. I'm actually working on a really cool trip giveaway, if you will.
Nice.
I'm really excited about this one. I can't say it yet because nothing's finalized, but boy, I'm really excited if this comes through, and I really feel like it is. It's going to be a good one. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever done anything like this, and so it'll be unique. But all I'm going to say is it includes really big bass, and probably on top water. Yeah. So start thinking outside the box of what might be. But anyway, so just some really cool stuff coming down the pipe. And one final thing that I'll talk to everybody about is the LiveScope XR transducer. I'm going to get some on the water footage for that. We'll be posting that on Facebook, because that's one thing that Hamner was running.
Yes.
I gave it to him last summer to try because he's good with it, and we didn't talk about it because, well, it's keep it a secret type situation. And wink, wink, nod, nod. And after we did our videos, I'm like, we can't hide anymore. This is going to get out. So so I want to do some on the water footage for that. And but anyway, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun meeting you guys and had a good time. So
great conversation. We're gonna have you back on, man, because like I said,
Sounds great.
you're gonna be our technologist.
Absolutely
our man who knows what the heck is going on, because we know between now and Christmas, something else new will come out before Christmas that everybody have to have on the front of their boat. Guys, I've seen the new a lot of the new trolling motor setups.
Yeah.
And now it's like before you'll tap a button and it automatically almost raises now. But I wait for the next one because you got that plunger sitting on the front of it, called transducer. Then you got some of them got another transducer on top of that. I was actually watching a Zaldane video, and people are using saltwater transducers on the back of the boat, and some of them are actually putting it on their power poles. A couple different elite anglers have, and yeah, look at that face. I'm probably giving too much information, but it's on a video. I mean, I watched it, so I mean,
it's been out there. That's one of those things that's been out there.
And but it's so. I mean, this boat is like 360. I mean, and you're talking about seeing some fish, guys. I mean, the Bass Tank guys will get you hooked up. They'll get you set up, teach you how to run the stuff, whatever system that your budget can allow you to buy to help you catch giant bass. So, Scott, appreciate you coming on. Thank you for talking with us, and we look forward to having you on again really soon.
Absolutely. Man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Had a good time.
Scott Palmer, everyone, man, we really appreciate him coming on with us tonight. Owner of the, you guys know the Bass Tank. Guys, we've been friends with Sokup. Sokup, like I said, he was part of Bass Tank back in the day, and they got some great specials, always running some great deals. And I've got a potential sponsor here. They kind of do the same thing as Bass Tank does, and they're about 2 hours down the road. But it's all, like he said, it's all in that personal customer service.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it in himself, man. When a customer has a bad experience, it makes him feel bad. So, I mean, and that's what it really is and really goes into as well, because, I had this gentleman on, and I don't know why I can't think of his freaking name right now. And we talked about batteries on before the first cast. And that was a great show as well, talking about the different types of batteries and the types of batteries you need to run these electronics that you're running now. I mean, it's just like computers. You need better CPUs and, you processors, and you need, RAM and memory, and you need more power. And with this AI, that's what's happening now. We need more power and, to process all the data. And it's the same with these electronics. It's pumping out a lot of data, a lot of information, and, help you guys get it running and power it and all that great stuff. So it's a great show. So if you guys haven't listened to that show, head on over to Basscast Radio and listen to that as well. But yeah, another great episode. Really appreciate him coming on. And
great episode.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, and hopefully you guys will learn something, and we'd like to have him back. We might do a Q&A or something like that. It'd be really freaking cool. But appreciate you guys. But might do a live. We might throw it up on Geeks channel, and
that'd be fun.
We'll do it.
I'll be all about it.
we'll
and this time, again, I'll apologize to Scott for talking too much, but I love this stuff, man. I love this stuff, and it's good to get to pick somebody's mind and talk about it.
Yeah,
who's been around it as much as he has. So
yes, so maybe we can do a share and get him live on Bass Geeks channel and download it and put it. We'll share it between between our shows.
Do a co-broadcast.
And that way you guys can ask some questions.
Yep.
But again, appreciate him. Yeah, the classics wrapped up. Congratulations to Justin on winning the 2024 Classic.
Who is a good guy.
He's a great guy. You're not going to hear a lot out of him. You're not going to hear him, period, almost. But he's really quiet, but he's really freaking good. So make sure you follow Justin as well and the Bass Geek, Bass Tank, because the Bass Tank's going to,
follow the Bass Geek too.
It's so many geeks and tanks and everything else.
So many bass somethings.
Cast, it's all of us. I mean, Last Cast Guide Service. It's Last Cast, Bass Cast. It's all there. But follow Bass Tank online, because you're going to see some great deals, and they threw up a lot of great deals last year as we got closer to the holidays.
Yes.
Because, it is electronics. I mean, it's like TVs. I mean, you see them dumping the old one. You ain't got to have the latest. Just make sure you got the Make sure
Listen,
you
the
got the newest
refurbs.
update. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yes.
refurb, but the update's probably almost more important in that transducer
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
system. So
And I know a lot of people are like, ooh, refurbs, but I'm telling you, man, the Bass Cast. See, now you got me doing
I got
the
him doing it.
The Bass Tank stands behind their products, man.
Yes.
So, you know, like I said, I've recommended them for years now, and it is they're price wise, they are as competitive or beat anybody else out there. I say it all the time, and I'm not affiliated with them at all.
Yeah. And if you guys want to talk about refurb, just go to your local Walmart and look on the back of a box, and it says refurb on it. Sorry, not sorry.
Yep,
It's on
yep.
there because Black and Decker put a lot of shit in there back in the day, and it had refurb on the back of it. So
How
if you
think
want to,
Wally World's getting it that cheap, peeps?
boom, boom, there it is. Again, guys, thank you all for listening. Have a great night. Thank you for following the basscast.com. Head on over and follow Bass Geek's channel as well. We need to get him to 100,000 subscribers in 2024. Let's make it happen. And we'll see you guys again next week right here on Basscast Radio.